Hello, and welcome back to the Journey from Cana. October is the month of the Rosary, in honor of Our Lady of the Rosary, whose feast day is October 7th. During the month of October, Catholic faithful are encouraged to pray the Rosary every day, with many parishes scheduling prayer events. So, who is Our Lady of the Rosary? Well, Our Lady of the Rosary introduced herself to the Catholic faithful on October 13th, 1917, through three poor shepherd children. Our Lady of the Rosary, better known today as Our Lady of Fatima, is one of the best known of the Marian appearances, and it's easy to see why. It is estimated that 70,000 people witnessed the miracle of the sun, with newspaper articles recording the event, and we even have pictures of one of the miracles. Next, she gave the children prophecies, all of which came true, and are known as the Secrets of Fatima. And finally, if that wasn't enough, Lucia, one of the three shepherd children who the Blessed Mother appeared to, became a Catholic nun, who only recently passed away in 2005 at 97 years old. The story begins in the village of Fatima, Portugal, in 1916, when Lucia, who was 9, tending sheep with her two younger cousins, Francisco, who was 6, and Jacinta, who was 8. An angel appeared to them and said, "Don't be afraid. I am the angel of peace, the guardian angel of Portugal. Pray with me." He then knelt down, bowing his head to the ground, and prayed 3 times. "My God, I believe, I adore, I hope, and I love thee. I beg pardon for thee, for those who do not believe, do not adore, do not hope, and do not love thee." Then he said to the children, "Pray the hearts of Jesus and Mary are attentive to your prayers." After this the angel left them. While all 3 saw the angel, only Lucia and Jacinta heard him, so told Francisco what he had said. They remained bowed to the ground for a long time, repeating the prayer that the angel had taught them. A few months later the angel appeared again, this time urging them to pray for the conversion of sinners, and taught them about the value of sacrifice. The following year, on May 13, 1917, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to the 3 young children. They were tending their family's sheep when a lady all in white, more brilliant than the sun, and indescribably beautiful, appeared before them standing above a bush. She said, "Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm from heaven. I came to ask you to come here at noon on the 13th day of the month for the next 6 months, and to pray a rosary every day for the end of war. After 6 months, I will tell you who I am and what I want." On June 13th, as promised, the Blessed Mother appeared again at the same spot, and again told them that she wanted them to keep praying the 5-decade rosary every day. During this visit, Lucia asked if the Blessed Mother would take them to heaven. She said that Jacinta and Francisco would be taken soon. However, Lucia would stay to help establish in the world a devotion to her Immaculate Heart. The Blessed Mother then had in her hand a heart with thorns encircling it. At this point, Jacinta told her mother about the visitation, and news quickly spread around the village of Fatima. On July 13th, crowds began to gather for the apparition, and again the Blessed Mother instructed the children to continue to come and pray the Rosary every day, in honor of Our Lady of the Rosary, to end the war. Lucia asked if she would perform a miracle, since many doubted she was appearing. She said for them to continue to come every month, and in October she will tell them who she is, and would perform a miracle so that everyone would believe. The Blessed Mother then gave them a vision of what we now call the Secrets of Fatima. They were instructed to keep the vision secret from all but Francisco, since he can see but not hear her. After the visitation, the Blessed Mother instructed the children to say what is now known as the Fatima prayer after each mystery of the Rosary. The Fatima prayer is, "O my Jesus, forgive us our sins, and save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls to heaven, especially those in most need of thine mercy." On August 13th, the governor of the area, who was a former Catholic turned Mason, offered to take the children to the apparition site in his carriage. However, instead, he kidnapped them. The next day he took them to the town hall and questioned them about what the lady had been telling them, and when they refused, he threw them in jail. When that didn't work, he threatened to torture them with boiling oil. When that failed, he kept them locked up overnight. The next day, when they still refused, he finally let them go. On August 19th, the Blessed Mother appeared to them in a different place and told them to continue to go to the original location on the 13th of the month and to keep praying the Rosary daily, and in October she would perform a miracle. During this visit, Lucia asked what to do with the money that had been left, and she said to use it as a procession for our feast of the Lady of the Rosary, and the rest should go to a chapel that will be built in her honor. On September 13th, the crowd had now gotten to the point that the children could barely make it to the site. During this appearance, the Blessed Mother said to continue praying the Rosary to the end of war, and in October, Jesus would come with Our Lady of Sorrows, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and Saint Joseph with the child Jesus to bless the world. October 13th, 1917 was a very rainy day. However, the stories of the Blessed Mother's appearance had spread, as well as her promise of a miracle, so a crowd of between 50,000 and 70,000 people had come. When the Blessed Mother appeared, Lucia asked, "What do you want of us?" She said, "I am the Lady of the Rosary, and tell them to build a chapel here in my honor, and to pray the Rosary every day. The war is about to end, and the soldiers will be coming home soon." The Blessed Mother then ascended from their sight, opening her hands and pointing toward the sun. The children then saw in the sky scenes of the joyful, sorrowful, and glorious mysteries of the Rosary. Afterward, the Holy Family appeared with Saint Joseph and the infant Jesus blessing the crowd 3 times. Next, Our Lady of Sorrow, besides her suffering Son, blessed the crowd. Then finally, the children saw Our Lady of Mount Carmel, with the infant Jesus upon her knee. The crowd, however, saw something very different. For them, suddenly the rain stopped, and the clouds separated, revealing the sun in the clear blue sky, like a disk of white fire. The sun began to dance, whirling rapidly, flinging all sorts of brilliant colors. The sun continued to move in this manner, before starting to tremble and shudder, then plunged toward the earth in a mighty zigzag pattern across the sky. After about 10 minutes, the sun reversed course and returned to its normal place in the heavens, leaving the people's soaked clothes and the ground around them completely dry. As you may expect, there were a lot of questions of what happened and what our Blessed Mother had said, which is why they became known as the Secrets of Fatima, which was broken into 3 parts. The first part of the secret was a frightening vision of hell, where the souls of the poor sinners go, and contained an urgent plea from Our Lady for acts of prayer and sacrifice to save souls, with a particular emphasis on praying of the Rosary and a devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. The second part of the secret specifically prophesied the outbreak of World War II and contained the prediction of the immense damage that Russia would do to humanity by abandoning the Christian faith and embracing communism if Russia wasn't consecrated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Over 50 million people lost their lives in World War II, and over 61 million lost their lives under Communist Russia. In 1984, the Holy Father consecrated the world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and a few years later, Communist Russia peacefully fell and has since re-embraced their Christian heritage. The third part was not revealed until 2000. Its revelation coincided with the beatification of Francisco and Jacinta. The vision supported and affirmed the immense suffering endured by witnesses of the faith in the last century. Sister Lucia, the surviving member of the Fatima trio, confirmed that in the vision, the bishop clothed in white who prays for all the faithful is the Pope. As he makes his way with great difficulty towards the cross amid the corpses of those who were martyred, he too falls to the ground, apparently dead under a hail of gunfire. From an American perspective, the third prophecy may seem to have not come to pass. However, the 20th century has become known as the century of Christian martyrdom for a reason. It is estimated that over 35 million Christians have been martyred for their faith throughout the world in the last 100 years, making Christians – by far the most persecuted religious group in history. So what became of the three children of Fatima after the Blessed Mother visited them? Well, as the Blessed Mother foretold, Francisco and Jacinta died soon after both getting the Spanish flu at the end of 1918. Francisco died on April 4th, 1919, at 9 years old. He would spend the remainder of his short life in prayer, often praying before the Blessed Sacrament, talking about how Jesus is hidden in the tabernacle. Jacinta died February 20th, 1920, at 11 years old, after suffering from complications such as pneumonia. She spent her last year in and out of the hospital, but would talk about patience and charity that we would need to have, even for the wicked, and that we shouldn't speak badly of anyone. She said that many people were in hell due to the sins of the flesh, and prophesied that many women's fashions would be introduced that would offend the Blessed Mother. The eldest child, Lucia, would become a nun in 1925 at the age of 18, and would devote her life to the spread of the Blessed Mother's Immaculate Heart, just as she was asked to. She would pass away on February 13, 2005, at 97 years old. Francisco and Jacinta were beatified in the year 2000, with the Church currently going through the beatification process for Lucia. Finally, what evidence do we have of the Blessed Mother's appearances? Her prophecies have all come true, and there is now a very strong devotion to her Immaculate Heart. However, that's not all. Remember, somewhere between 50 and 70,000 people saw what had now become known as the miracle of the sun. And as you would expect, newspapers picked up the story. A local journalist wrote an article of the event describing the reactions from the crowd, and the St. Louis Review published an article in 1953 verifying the initial reports from the eyewitnesses on the 35th anniversary. This isn't the only evidence that something miraculous happened. On September 12, 1935, Jacinta was exhumed 15 years after her death. When they examined the body, they found that she was uncorrupted, in a perfect state of preservation. Upon noticing this, her body was examined and found that she was noticeably taller than when she had been buried, continuing to apparently grow even in death. Now, despite the accurate predictions, eyewitnesses, newspaper articles, and pictures of Jacinta uncorrupted, many doubters will try to explain away this evidence to justify their beliefs. To which I would quote St. Thomas Aquinas: "To those who have faith, no explanation is necessary, and to those who do not have faith, no explanation is possible." Or to put another way, if you believe in God and that Mary is our mother, this evidence only proves what we already know to be true. However, if you don't believe, you will never be satisfied, regardless of how much evidence you have. So join me this October and pray the Rosary every day as our Blessed Mother has asked, praying to end the wars and to bring peace throughout the world. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue the journey from Cana.